Hey folks, I'm Red and this is my Watcher of Realms channel. I'm on the free-to-play account, the Aracha account, and I wanted to give a guide on Guild Boss. So here's our Guild Boss. When you're pretty early in the game, one of the missions is to join a guild. And so the first guild you join is not necessarily the one that you stick with. And they have these different guild bosses that you can fight. And your goal is to just do as much damage as possible to get these different chests. And so obviously your goal is to get the top chest in each category, and you have to kind of beat the bosses with your guild to move on to the next stage. So my guild has not yet been able to beat Nightmare 3, which means that we can't unlock Nightmare 4. Okay? But these guild bosses, easy, normal, hard, are relatively simple to complete. They don't have a ton of blood that you need to harvest in order to get them down. When you're able to get the boss down to 0%, then you get double chests. So I can claim these rewards. I got the top chest for Nightmare 1 and Nightmare 2. And so I'll get 2 chests because our clan, our guild, was able to get the boss down to 0% HP. So I'll just go ahead and claim these. And I got a legendary skill crystal, which is pretty cool. So these chests are actually color-coded depending on the value of the rewards that are inside. So here you can see this one is blue. It means I probably didn't get very good rewards. And indeed, I just got kind of the low-level rewards. So if you click on here, on the different, so this is the potential reward that I could get, and you can see I got the smallest amount of stamina possible, and that gave me that kind of blue chest. But then the first chest I got, I had a legendary skill crystal, so that gave me that legendary reward, or legendary color, I should say. Okay. So here again, I got the top chest, which just means I get a chance at all of these different materials. And yeah, so obviously if you get to Nightmare 3, you have a chance at, say, legendary soulstone, which is actually quite rare, but you could also get ancient or legendary summoning crystals, ancient or divine summoning crystals, which is quite cool. So we want to be able to beat Nightmare 3 and get that top reward. I don't really have the damage to do it. I can basically get these bottom 2 rewards. But these bottom 2 rewards are, pretty good. They're basically the same as Nightmare 2, but I prefer to get 2 chests a day on Nightmare 2 than 1 of these lower level chests on Nightmare 3. So that's why I do that. So the name of the game when it comes to Guild Boss is just being able to do as much damage as possible. So if I go here into my fight, this is a team that I recently used. It's not the one that's on my auto battle, but I basically am using the best single target damage dealers that I have and combining them with other heroes who can help to support their damage output. So someone like Marri is really good, especially early game, because she has this ability on her basic to inflict slow, but also to, when she does her slow, do this vulnerability to physical damage and vulnerability to magic damage. And this is at 10%. So this basically boosts the damage of all your other damage dealers. So you want her to be really fast, as fast as you can get her, and then she'll consistently put out all of that damage. So she's actually not that fast here. I think I gave her some HP so that she would be able to survive, because that's the other thing, is that you need your heroes to survive. Nightmare 1, Nightmare 2, you need about 15,000 HP in order for them to be able to survive with a couple of healers. So you want her to be really fast. About 300-400 speed is decent, but you also want her to be able to survive. So it's a balance that you have to find. And the other heroes that I'm using are basically damage dealers, so Aracha, Alora. I don't actually use Valk in here because she's not super well built, and I've got this Nightmare Squad that gets the bonus from Wrath. So Wrath, Salazar, Abomination, and then Vierna I use because she's just one of my best damage dealers. She's not the best for this because she doesn't do burst damage, single target, but she does good damage. And then if you have someone like Dolores who can boost the attack of all your heroes, so Inspiration is what she does, which increases attack of all the units in range for that period of the ultimate, then definitely worth doing to keep her in there. There's other heroes that can also do the same thing. Rare here. Let's see. So I've got Autumn, who also does this crit damage increase, which is quite good. And she is also a healer, crit rate increase as well. And so she can really help to boost damage as well. So I'm using Dolores because she's one of the best attack boosters in the game. And yeah, that's how I've been doing it. So if you hit the start button when you're trying different ideas, then you will actually lose your keys potentially, or your tokens that allow you to fight the guild boss. You get 2 of these per day. You can get some through quests and other sources. But if you hit the playtest button, that'll let you do a run without actually using your token. So that's a good way to test out different strategies. And the way that I usually do it is if you have really good gear, then you would probably have Dolores in an invigoration set, which boosts attack for 1 unit, so you would place her second, but I don't, so I'm just going to place my Marri relatively early and get out some of my big damage dealers here. So I'm actually going to put Abomination up here and let Salazar have the boost, because Dolores' range is this kind of square. So whoever's in here, in my case Abomination, is going to be out of range. So then I'll put my Alora down here because she does a lot of damage, and I'll put in my second healer here. Now unfortunately, my healer, Midan, cannot really cover everyone. So this is a bit of an issue because I have a mix of fighters and others. So someone like Vortex might actually be better here in terms of helping me survive. I do also have Hollow. She's really good because she regenerates rage. But the basic idea is just to get as much damage as you can get, and you wait for the shield to come up so that you can break through the shield. So that's why you kind of need burst damage. At this point, the dragon is just attacking, and I am able to survive, heal up my heroes. Abomination heals himself. Okay, so once this shield comes up, I want to start boosting all my heroes and all my damage dealers specifically, and then do as much damage as I can to break through that shield, and then to hit the boss when he's in this state. When the boss is in this state, he's going to be more prone to damage or susceptible to damage. So that's a good time to hit him. And as you can see, all my ultimates are used, except for Marri, who I just basically want her to keep up these debuffs. And Midan I haven't triggered because I'm waiting for this boss to actually do some damage before I use that. So here we go. Here comes the Dragon Claw. and I will heal up my heroes using my healer. So that's kind of my basic strategy. I tend to hold Dolores until I can actually use her for that burst to break through the shield, because if you can't break through the shield, then the boss basically just one-shots you. So I usually wait on that. If you have a good amount of rage regeneration, then you can use a different strategy, where you don't need to wait for the boss to have his shield up before you run it. So you can see I'm doing a lot of damage here, and I should be able to hit the target, the top chest. So I'll put this on 2x and let this go. Notice when my Marri does her ultimate, she does more damage, but then the debuffs kind of drop off. So, and my Abomination has died, so I'm going to put Valk in and keep going. So wait for that third shield. So there's 3 shields here that come, and here we go. And my Valk has died. I probably should have used her ultimate earlier. So I'll put in Vierna, get a little bit more damage off, and keep going, keep trucking away. So this is, my basic strategy. Once you get up into the higher levels of Guild Boss, it becomes less about just doing as much damage as possible and actually figuring out how you can maximize your output. Okay, there's only 3 shields, so now that the ultimates are available, I'm just going to use them. And as you can see, we're reaching the end, and I've done, 4,500 damage or blood. So I've collected 4,500, and it says, this playtest doesn't count towards rewards, but that's the highest score I've gotten. So they're going to upload this as an auto fight, and then I can do the auto battle later. So that's pretty good. That's Nightmare 1. Pretty straightforward, I would say. And Nightmare 2 is also relatively straightforward. For Nightmare 3, I'll show you my auto battle. I think I can basically just maybe hit that second reward. I think I can't quite break the second shield. So let me run this as an auto battle, and we'll see what my setup is here. I think I'm using, I'm still using Midon, okay, and I'm using Vierna instead of Aracha. Okay, and you can see my setup here is a little bit different. So I've got basically everyone except Abomination covered by the healer. Okay, so that's pretty important. You want to get to a point where you just use someone like Dolores to boost your damage and a single healer. If you can do that, then you have the potential of doing the highest damage that you can on your account. Okay, so I can break that first shield, and I think it's the second shield that I can't quite do. I have upgraded some of my gear, so it might actually be doable this time, but you can see that Abomination is not covered by the healer, but he can kind of heal himself a little bit, and so he's able to survive at least partly. So okay, I beat the second shield, so I'm going to be able to get that second chest, which is quite good. Yeah, but maybe it's the third shield that I can't beat now. Let's try. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Okay, so I was able to beat that third shield. So the upgrades that I did must have really worked. The nice thing about an auto battle is you can set it up, and then if you upgrade gear in the meantime, your hero will just be stronger for the next auto battle. So I'm hitting about 3,600 blood, which is decent. I actually did an auto battle here, so I would lose a key, but you can just quit, and then you won't lose your token. So you can see I've still got 2 here, but let me just see where that would put me in terms of the chest. So if I had 3,600 blood, it would put me just close to getting that third chest. Okay, and this would be the same rewards or better, or the same chances or better than the rewards here that I would get for the top chest in Nightmare 2. So it might be worth it. I think I don't know if we'd be able to get Nightmare 3 down, so I wouldn't get 2 chests. So that's kind of the issue. Once we've got enough damage with our guild mates that we can actually get it down, then consistently, then it would be worth it probably to invest in that. So I'll decide whether I want to do that or not, but for now I think I'll stick with Nightmare 2 and Nightmare 1, and yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. So you want your best single target DPS, you want some healing. I do have, let's see, where is she? I do have Hollow here, who should really be able to help me get a bit more damage out, but the trick is kind of cycling those ultimates and being able to do damage in between the shields and still have your damage up for the shields. So that's a bit of a tricky thing. Someone like a Laurel is excellent for this because she can get your ultimates up very quickly, and then in combination with a Hollow, doing some healing, keeping everyone alive, and then regenerating rage as well, that's a good way to get a lot of damage out. So single target damage is what you need, but if you have heroes that just do a lot of damage and it's AoE, put them in. So hopefully that's helpful for you as you're working on your guild boss. The early stages are relatively simple once you've got some 6-starred single target DPS, and then the higher stages are all about kind of adjusting your team composition, your synergy, to put out as much damage as you can in that limited time, and also burst down the shield. So yeah, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.